Hey guys, my name is Rio and welcome back to another Tutorial Tuesday. Today I'm going to show you how to make a like overlay just like this. Without any further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so you may be asking yourself, why the heck do I need a like overlay on my videos? Well, the short answer is you don't. But it's really nice to be able to boost likes on your videos and increase your publicity of your videos across the internet. Adding in this like overlay increases the likes on your videos because it reminds people who might forget to like your videos, it gives incentive to those who wouldn't normally like your videos, and it just overall encourages your viewers to interact with your video. In addition to likes, getting them to like your video might also encourage them to subscribe or even add your video to liked or favorite playlists. Alright, so that's enough talking for now. Let's go ahead and jump into Adobe After Effects where I'll show you just how to pull this off.
So here we are in Adobe After Effects. Now the first thing you want to do is create a composition that we're going to be working with and creating our like overlay pop-up. So I'm going to go here to the project window and I'm going to click the create new composition button here, and I'm just going to name it like overlay, and that way when I import it somewhere else or I render this, it kind of gives me a name that I know what it is. And for our width, we want 1920, height 1080, unless you render your videos exclusively in 720p, in which case you would do 1280 by 720. But I like to stay at the 1080p standard, just because you can always go down from there, but it's hard to go up from 720 without reworking your entire project. So start off with 1920 by 1080. Square pixels, the frame rate. Now YouTube supports 60 frames per second now, so there's no reason not to go to 60. You can also go to 59 point, I think drop frame is, no, it's not that. You can do drop frame. I would just recommend going to 60. Yeah, 59.94, that's drop frame. Just go to 60. And resolution should be full for your previews. And duration, we don't want our like overlay to be too long, so I'm just going to go and cap us out at about 8 seconds here, and I'm just going to make the rest zeros because I like having a nice even composition. So our black background color will be black, and I think that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and click OK, and that'll create our composition. And from here, we can start working. Now, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go online to find a like button picture, unless you feel like going ahead and creating your own like button or getting a different one. Right now, I just opened up Google and I searched YouTube like button transparent. I put transparent at the end to make sure that we don't have to key out any black backgrounds or anything funky like that. We're just getting the like button in its entirety, and we won't have to worry about maybe a white solid background or a black solid background. It'll just be transparent. So I'm gonna go ahead and find one that I like here. Let's see. We need to find one that has a transparent back on it. Alright, so here's a good like button that I found. Pretty much all you have to do is go to the view image and it'll just give you that. You can either drag it out into a folder that you may have, or you could right click and say copy image URL and do this handy trick I like to do all the time. So what you can do is open up the After Effects import dialog by just double clicking in the open space in your project bin, and then you can actually paste the link that we copied for the actual image into the file name dialog, and it'll actually grab it from the internet and automatically import it into your project. Not a lot of people know this, but it was just a really handy thing that I just found out about just recently, and it has saved my life and time a number of times. So there's a little tip for you. Anyways, let's go ahead and grab this image and we'll pull it down into our composition here. So right ahead, I'm going to kind of position it in the corner that I want the like overlay to be in. That looks about good right there. And now I want to start animating it popping in and popping out. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my position here by hitting P on my keyboard with the layer selected. So I'm going to hit P to bring up the position. You can also just kind of toggle that down and find it yourself. And I'm going to create a keyframe right here. Now I don't want it to start out right here. I want it to end up right there. So I'm going to go about like half a second in. I'm going to put that there, but I want it to start out underneath here. So notice how our starting keyframe right here is it outside of the screen, and then we want it to end up with that right there, right about half a second in, where it's in position where we want it to be. So if we go ahead and we go to the beginning of our composition and I click 0 on my numpad, or you go up here and click the RAM preview button, and you'll see that when we play this back, we'll go home and then we'll RAM preview again, it pops up. Now I might want to make that a little bit faster, and we'll use the bouncing method that I showed in my bounce to the beat, text bouncing to the beat tutorial. So we'll kind of use that here. So I'm going to basically go above where I want it to end up. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 keyframes ahead by hitting page down. I'm going to go below where I want it to end up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to put it right where I want it to end up. So let's play that back. And it gives a nice bouncing effect. Now it's coming up a little bit too slow, and it makes the bouncing look really excessive. So in order to do that, I'm going to squish those first two keyframes together to make it come up faster, to make it look like the bounce is a little bit more deserved. I'm also going to highlight these keyframes right here and hold Alt and drag the last one, kind of expand them. We'll see how that looks. And you'll see we have a nice bouncing animation. Really, really nice. I'm going to go ahead and select all these and go to my last keyframe and then just kind of move it down to match more where I want it to be. And let's go ahead and RAM preview this from the start. And you'll see that it's just what we want. It's the like button bouncing in. Alright, so now what we want to do is, like I've done in so many of my videos on my gaming channel, is I have an actual mouse cursor coming up and clicking it and then going away before the like button goes out of screen or transitions out. So in order to do that, we need a cursor. Alright, so by searching mouse click cursor on Google, I came up with this nice image of the mouse cursor that we want. It's also got this generic cursor right next to it, but that's not a problem. We can get rid of it pretty easily in Adobe After Effects. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this out into my folder that I'm working with, and I'm going to go ahead and drag it in my project window here. You can also use the standard importer by double clicking inside the project window to open up the browser, where you can click and find the file and open it manually, but I just like dragging things in. It's simpler for me. And let's go ahead and make its own composition, so that way we can get rid of the other cursor before putting it into our like overlay composition. Alright, so in its own separate composition, we can go ahead and use our rectangular mask tool with our layer selected, and let's go ahead and draw a mask over top of the cursor, and let's do that. So now that we have the cursor separated from the other cursor, let me just go ahead and tweak it real quick. I'm going to move that around, and that looks about good. So now we have that isolated. You'll see that we have a white background on it. That's not too big of a much of a big deal. So from here, you're going to want to add the levels effect to your cursor layer, and what you want to do is crush the blacks a little bit to make them a little bit more prominent. Or actually, that's the output. Let's change the input levels and let's drag these together, and you'll notice it makes a nice crisp image of the cursor. So that's without levels and that's with. So you'll see a big difference. Now all we have to do is get rid of the outside white. So there's a few ways to do that. You can actually go ahead and create a quick mask, which I think I'm just going to end up doing. Alright, so make sure when you're masking that you go through all the sort of corners kind of precisely, so you don't get any overflow on the outside. And once you've done that, you can go ahead and change how your masks interact with each other, because right now they are not doing anything because one's inside of the other. So I'm going to set mask 1 to intersect, I believe. No, it should be add, and then the second one should be intersect. And you'll see that it doesn't look so hot. However, when we go ahead and duplicate this, so I'm going to click on this layer, I'm going to duplicate it, I'm going to hit M twice to bring up both the masks, I'm going to delete them, and you'll see that we have our original one. Actually, let's keep the mask that keeps the box around it. Alright, so that was mask 1. So now we have the one underneath where we just have the white inside, and then we have the one on top where we just have the black and white image with the box around it. So now what we want to do is apply a color key to the top one. so we just get the outline. So a color key, and then apply it to the top one. And with the color key, we're just going to key out the white color because that is the color that we don't want to leave. So let's go ahead and click that, and you'll see that it gets rid of all of the outside white, and it leaves just the black outline, which goes on top of the one that we had from the bottom and creates the nice cursor image. So this is probably a lot easier done in Photoshop. I just kind of wanted to show how you do it in Adobe After Effects, just so you can do it all without leaving the program. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my anchor moving tool up here to move the anchor to the center, and I'm gonna hold Control to snap it to the middle. I'm gonna do the same for the other one. I'm just gonna make sure that I don't have any masks selected, and I'm gonna move it to the center, and that way when we move it or rotate it, it stays about the center. So let's go ahead and hit Control K, or go to right click here and go to composition settings, and let's change our composition to match that of our cursor so that there's no transparent edges around that are going to be annoying. So let's go ahead and kind of make it fit barely. That looks about good. And just real quick, I'm going to change the interpolation on these to be draft, so that you get these kind of hard edges instead of the softer ones. So draft mode down here. And there you go, we have our cursor now. I'm just going to go back to our like overlay composition, and I'm going to drag in our cursor on top of our existing like button layer. So it's on top. Let's go ahead and size it down a little bit, and let's go ahead and move it just out of frame right here. Now, what you might be thinking we should do is start keyframing it, coming up here and then clicking it and then moving out. However, that will take quite a bit of time, and there's a much simpler way to do it. So let's go ahead up here to the window and make sure that we are able to see the motion sketch window right here, motion sketch. If you click that, it'll kind of bring your motion sketch window into focus. Mine just kind of defaulted to be down here. I'm going to move it down to this preview window right here. So basically, with your mouse cursor pointer selected, that layer selected, you go over to the motion sketch window. I have mine down here, and I'm going to click Start Capture. So now you'll see that you can just draw where you want your mouse to be, and then it'll go do it. So if we play this back, you'll see that it goes up and it does that. And since it's you actually moving the mouse, it gives it the organic mouse movement feel to it, which is super awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and scale it down and maybe angle it using my rotation tool up here, rotation tool, and I'm gonna angle it like that. So, and I'm gonna try my motion sketch again. I just Control Z'd, so it won't come up. So I'm gonna start my motion capture again, and I'm gonna go like that, and then out. Let's go ahead and preview again and see if that is good enough. Alright, it looks pretty good, but since I'm perfectionist, I'm gonna give it one more go and a nice steady hand. And let's see how that looks. Ooh, I think that's looking pretty good. Alright, I like it. So now that we have our mouse movement, we don't have to worry about keyframing any of that. It's simple, it's done. I might want to move this a little bit forward so it gives the like button time to come up and do its bouncing before the mouse comes into play. So I'm going to go ahead and ramp preview. There we go. And that's looking pretty good. So now all we have to do is make it look like the cursor is clicking the like button. So to do that, basically you go to your cursor. I'm going to hit the scale property, S, on my keyboard with the layer selected to bring up my scale property. I'm going to click that, and I'm basically going to make a keyframe at whatever size it is right now, about 55%. I'm going to go 2, 3, 4 keyframes ahead by using my page down button, and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, another 5, and then I'm going to go back to 55 where it was originally, and you'll see that it does that kind of clicking in motion. Now if you want to get more advanced, you can make it a 3D object and make it rotate a little bit forward, but I can show you how to do that real quick. So all you do is click the 3D button right here, and it'll make it a 3D object, And then what you would do is you do the same thing. So I'd go to my, I think it's, yeah, it's the X rotation. So I'd go to X rotation, I'd click the keyframe button, I'd go to where the scale is at its smallest, I'd move it a little bit forward like that, and then I'll go to my end keyframe and then I'll make it 0 again. So you'll see that it tilts forward like that, kind of goes like that. Kind of looks like it's clicking forward in 3D space. And to make our like button look like it's getting clicked, all we have to do is go to our like button right here, and we'll add a keyframe on the scale property just like we did with the cursor. We'll make it go in a little bit, and then we'll go to our end, and then we'll go to 100% scale. And you'll see that when it clicks, it looks like it's actually clicking the like button. Let's go ahead and preview. So, yep, there it goes. Looks like it's clicking the like button. And if we want to make the green on the like button kind of show up, like if you want the like button to turn green like it does on YouTube, or at least it used to, what you can actually do is kind of split this layer right in the middle of when it should be clicked. So right here in the middle, and then we'll hit Control-Shift-D with our YouTube like button selected, and that will split the two clips. And on this latter one, all we'll do is we'll change the gray to be green. So what we do is we do change color, and we'll drag it onto our split, our second half of our split like button. We'll select this color, the gray, and we'll do a lightness transform, and we'll also bump up saturation all the way, bump up saturation to 100, and then we'll mess with the lightness to make it a kind of red, and we'll shift the hue to make it green. So that looks like the green right there. I'll probably make it a little bit darker. That's looking good, and I think that's great. Now we'll notice that the dislike button is now green. So all we have to do now is we'll just duplicate this. Not the effect. We'll duplicate this second half of the like button. We'll duplicate it. The one on top will be the green of the like button, and then the one on bottom will just have the default dislike button, and we'll get rid of the change color effects. So go ahead here on my top one, I'm gonna make it only that, and then on the bottom one we can delete the change color, and we'll see that the one on top is giving our like button the green color, and the one on bottom is just the default gray. So there you go. Now we can go ahead and just start closing all these options because they're getting a little bit confusing, and we'll see that goes up, it clicks it, turns green, goes out, and now all we have to do is animate the exiting of the like button, and we're done. So let's go ahead and change these, and what do we want to do? Let's go ahead and make it easier on ourselves. Instead of animating it twice, because we do have 2 layers now instead of 1, we can actually go ahead and pre-compose these to make them one clip. We'll go ahead and pre-compose, and I'm going to call this like button after. Alright, and you'll see that it changes it into one clip instead of 2, and it basically makes its own composition with the 2 files inside of it. Let's go back to our like overlay, and now all we have to do is we have to hit position, and let's just do the same thing we did out. We'll go ahead and create a keyframe there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go a little bit down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go a little bit up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a little bit out. All right, so 5 keyframes apart from when we did the intro. When it came in, it transitioned in, we realized that that was a little bit too close together, so I'm going to go ahead and hold Alt and move the last one to kind of stretch them out. And let's see how this looks. It's looking pretty good. All right, let's view it all together. Right there, and then it'll go out. So that is our like button animation. I think that's pretty much complete. Let's go ahead and render real quick. So I'm going to create my end right here. I'm going to click N on my keyboard to get it to be the end of the work area. Let's go ahead and trim our composition to be just that. And now all we have in our composition is just this animation, and then it's done. The composition is done as soon as it ends. So there we go. That's that. Let's go ahead and render this by hitting Control M on our keyboard. And let's go ahead and choose our render settings. Now, render settings are important because we are working with transparency and we want to keep that. Also, you should keep in mind that in order to use this transparent feature, you should be using an editing program such as Sony Vegas or Premiere Pro to be able to take this clip and use the alpha channel to keep the background transparent. So make sure you have either one of those editing programs. So with our render settings up here, all of this looks good. Make sure that you know, the frame rate is what you want it to be and the size is what you want it to be. Let's go down here to our output module and we'll want to change this to RGB plus alpha. That's very important. We want the transparent aspect of this video. Millions of colors plus, that is certainly fine. No compression because it is a lossless codec. And no audio. We will just leave that on auto. It won't export any audio. And that's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and click OK. Now all you have to do is select where you want to output to. So I'm going to select right here and then like overlay. Sounds pretty good to me. So go ahead and click save. And now when we render, basically all we'll do is just render out the frames and we'll see that the background is transparent. And once it's done, we'll have our video and we can drag it into Premiere Pro or Sony Vegas. And if you use either one of those programs, you should probably figure out how to keep the alpha channel there. I know in Sony Vegas it's a little bit problematic. I went over it in my overlay intro tutorial. It's basically all you have to do is drag it into Sony Vegas and then right click it and then go to the properties and say alpha, straight alpha, and all that good stuff. And if you drag it into Premiere Pro, it should recognize the alpha channel automatically and the background will be transparent. Basically all you do is put it on the track above your video that you want to overlay it on, and then it should show up on top of your video, and then this little animation will play on top of your video, giving you that like button overlay effect. So here we are in Premiere Pro. I'm just going to show you how to insert the overlay in Premiere Pro. So in order to do that, all you do is import your clip. I have it right here. Drag it in on top of your video. So I want it to be on top of right about here. That's where I say here, check out the like overlay, and then you'll see when I play it back, it comes in over top, and the background's transparent, and you'll see the like overlay is right there. So that's pretty much how you do that in Premiere Pro. It's pretty much just drag and drop and you're good to go, and that's pretty much that.
Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this week's Tutorial Tuesday. So if you enjoyed this week's Tutorial Tuesday, please make sure to leave a like on this video and also subscribe for more weekly tutorials. While you're at it, go ahead and share it with your family, share it with your grandma, your great-grandmother, your great-great-grandmother, maybe even your grandfather if you're feeling crazy, and it just really helps me out. Just real quick, I want to thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers already. We just really pushed past our kind of short-term goal of reaching 1,000 subscribers in just a few hours or days after the first tutorial. So thank you guys so much for that. It really means a lot to me, and I'm just really excited to be posting more tutorials on this channel. If you have any more suggestions for tutorials that you want to see me make on this channel, please make sure to leave them down in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to read all of your guys' suggestions and possibly make your tutorial happen. Make sure to tune in next week where I show you guys how to fight crime with your pet naked mole rat. Until then, as always, keep creating.